Life for All presents Daily Food Series, Word, Life, and Edification, Part 2. Title of Book 4, The Way, the Truth, and the Life, by Pedro. Week 2. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another. Wednesday. Humbling ourselves under the mighty hand of God. Read with prayer. Therefore humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. The beginning of chapter 13 in the Gospel of John highlights that there was little time left for Jesus to fulfill the task the Father had given him on earth, to die on the cross for us. However, he did not remain in death because God resurrected him, causing him to ascend to the heaven and sit at his right hand. Acts chapter 2, verses 32 through 36. During the Passover banquet, Jesus rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and wiped them with the towel with which he was girded. John chapter 13, verses 4 and 5. The Lord's Last Supper with his disciples was a very solemn environment, as everyone knew that the Lord's death was near. Jesus was the most illustrious person, the protagonist of that banquet, and yet he did something surprising. Before leaving, Jesus wanted to give us an important lesson, an example. He got up, took off his outer garment, took a towel, and placed it around his waist, girding himself. At the time, only servants girded themselves with a towel. Jesus, the most illustrious guest at that banquet, girded himself like a servant, assuming the role of a servant. Most men always seek the position of greatest honor, but Jesus walked in the opposite direction. This attitude came as a surprise to everyone. When he approached Simon Peter, he said to him, "Lord, are you washing my feet?" Jesus answered and said to him, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will know after this." Peter said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." John chapter 13, verses 6 through 9. Peter, when he saw that situation, reacted with great surprise, but then he realized what Jesus was doing, and this served as a lesson for him. So much so that in his first epistle he says, "Likewise, you younger people, submit yourself to your elders. Yes, all of you be submissive one to another, and be clothed with humility, for God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble." 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5. We have encouraged many young people and teenagers to be included in the Lord's work. Our teenagers are the troops, and our young adults are the troop captains. They are very useful in the Lord's hands, but we want them to be even more useful, to learn to do the Lord's work and reach more maturity. In each church, may they be those who help the responsible brothers to carry the Lord's work forward, without pride or concern for position or place of honor. I know young people with a heart to seek honor and prominence for themselves, who end up falling into the devil's traps, walking the path of Satan, which is pride and arrogance. Dear young one, even if you are right on a certain subject, follow the path of submission and humility, because this will always result in life. choosing the path of rebellion means losing the path of life. So always be submissive to your elders. Do not seek position and prominence, because if we remain in a position of humility, God will always grant us His grace. In my life, there have been situations where I have been humiliated, but thank God I submitted to them. If God made me go through them, it is because I needed it. If we trust and submit to God in these circumstances, at the right time, He will exalt us. We do not need to worry about taking the law into our own hands. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. Beware of Satan's traps. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is walking about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Verse 8. He is prowling. Let us not let him in through pride and ambition. Let us not allow him to turn us into traitors as he did with Judas. Paul told the Ephesians, nor give place to the devil. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 27. Let us not feed him, but rather starve him by walking in the way of the Lord, in the way of humility, in the way of serving one another. Thus, Satan will have no place among us. Write the sentence that touched your heart the most. Highlight the key points in this sentence. Pray according to the content highlighted above.